welcome, folks. This is kind of our little after show that we're going to talk about some of the exciting stuff that just couldn't fit into the time frame that we were working with. And if you watch the full show, we were talking about one of the efforts that Ceci and Anne-Marie were working on at the Palm Beach Opera to improve the organization's outreach and diversity beyond just simply checking a box and actually making real connections. And one of the things that they talked about was a fashion show they did centered around the what to wear to the opera approach. So with that as the setup, pick it back up.
Yeah, well, we actually we actually did two of them, well, 2 seasons of it. So the first season we hosted it at a wine bar called Wine Cellar, and it was super cool because it was this really artsy, funky wine bar. They had a great outdoor area and an indoor area, and we partnered with local African-American designers, as well as, jewelry makers. And we had a host who had hosted, several fashion weeks, etc. And so it was fun. We had a DJ, and people really came out because, one of the things we wanted to communicate, Ceci, right, with the whole Opera for All, because that was another hashtag we used, was Opera for All. And we wanted to communicate that it didn't matter what your style was. Bring your style, bring your flair to the opera. We wanted to make it different and fun. And so I think we were able to really execute on that.
Was this one of the, because I've been to fashion shows that have been culturally centered before, and they tend to be exactly what you're imagining. You can probably imagine what I'm thinking based on the look on my face. Were these something that wasn't cringe-worthy? I mean, like, were they things like people would actually want to wear? Did people actually wear any of the outfits to any of the productions?
Yeah. So I think it was such a diverse look of fashion. So the first year we did it, we had a couture designer. So you had someone who had the evening gowns, but then we had someone who was an African attire designer. So different African garb and color and head wraps and dresses and skirts. And so we had that designer. And then we had another designer who was a little more still dressy, but not couture, not like a mid-end, not too high-end, but not just too casual. So we had 3 designers that year. The second year we did at Ceci, and that was when Daniel came, the executive director, and he was just in awe.
Daniel's in Daniel Biaggi, right?
Daniel Biaggi. Listen, Daniel was in love because he saw these beautiful Black women flaunting the runway in these beautiful gowns of all shapes and sizes. And that one we had mostly couture designers. I think we had 4 different couture designers who just brought a different level of elegance and style and trends. And so, yeah, so we had people who actually purchased from the designers, which was great. So some of them made money, which is also amazing. And then we had people that was able to buy them and say, I'm going to wear this. The first year I actually wore an African skirt that I had purchased to the opera, and it was super cool. And then the second year I wore a gown to one of the operas. But yeah, it was great. People bought jewelry because it was very custom and center, very conversational pieces that were shown. So it was great. And I think what made it a win-win, and Ceci can, add to this, Drew, was that when we, again, just being authentic with our efforts and building the relationships, we wanted to make sure that our partnerships were win-wins. So we were also helping to uplift local small minority businesses in the process and bringing recognition to those designers who people don't normally hear about designers, because you don't look at who designs your shirt, whatever.
Oh, I do, yes.
You do, yeah. So for some of us who just buy stuff, but to be able to put these designers on.
I feel like I accomplished something. I derailed you. I feel like I got something good here.
Goals. We got goals around here.
Well, what I want, and I hope you got in some of these photos, is I want to see who attended this, the actual fashion show. Was this something you focused from a specific campaign on, saying we still want to, pull in the people and connect with the people from the community that we want to reach with? Or was this one of those events or activities that you were trying to actually reach to, here's our traditional core group, and here are the folks that we want to try to build stronger connections with, and here's something they can all attend?
None of these things were, I mean, we didn't, like the fashion show, like I didn't send an email to our regular email list about this fashion show. I mean, it wasn't a secret or anything. These events were not secret. I mean, they were on our website. They were, the language, free and open to everyone. But, I knew how to get our regular audience to stuff. So the effort was spent on engaging with these newer communities, or communities that were newer to us.
Yeah.
I mean, every email you send out isn't into your entire list.
Drew, don't get me started.
Drew, now that is not best practices for me, Miss Ceci. No.
Oh yes. It's just seeing if I can push that button.
That is not email marketing best practices.
What's a segment?
Segment that messaging.
What's a segment? That's a perfect segue, I think, into just kind of close this little segment out now, which is, I think I mentioned in the beginning of our first segment that I was fortunate enough to be in the right place at the right time to be able to see a presentation that the two of you and your colleague, Jordan, help me with the name, please.
Jordan Lane Howell.
Jordan Lane Howell. I am so sorry, Jordan. Gave about this project. And being in a conference setting, since it was a presentation, the audience could interact with you, and it was very different than this kind of static thing. For everyone who's out there who puts those sorts of things together, yes, you ask for people to send you, a pitch for a session or whatnot. Don't wait, just reach out. The contact information is below for both Ceci and Anne Marie. Get them to come to your whatever you're doing, whether it's a conference or you just want to have them come in and actually talk to your staff. Hey, maybe board members, that might not be a bad idea also. And have this kind of conversation. This is the sort of professional development that I think people need to hear more of, and boy, if there was ever a better time that they need to hear it, it's now. So there we go, folks. Ceci, Anne Marie, thank you both so much. This was really just more fun than should be legal and I should be allowed to have locked up in a pandemic. So.
Well, thank you for having us, Drew. This has been so much fun. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, everybody, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.